Yeah, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but all things considered, between a few yet more of the panoply of health issues that seem to haunt me, this is about as quick as I can get back to it. I hope. I'm still not doing my best, but felt like I should probably come here. Actually, I felt greatly like probably grousing about governmental structures and rebellion as conformity and grouse. And I'm not particularly in the mood for that, honestly. It's just kind of like you can only grouse about things about the state so much because the state, it doesn't really matter what you do, the state is going to go on. It's going to take a lot more than some very angry young white, middle-aged white people, some older white people, and some very aggrieved minorities to really make things go, because the status quo is still operable. It's still comfortable. It's still easier to deal with for those of the first world, and then everyone belongs in their places below that in the second world and the third world and onward and onward. But it really doesn't seem to really matter. I could sit here and grouse about how bad the world is, but how do I know what the third world is like? I mean, I'm an American. I've lived a life of comfort. Yeah, I have my 6,000 years of Jewish oppression background, shtick, but that really doesn't tell me what is it like to be a young African American man living in an American city. What's it like to be a Muslim girl living in Afghanistan, living in Southeast Asia? What is it like for an old person living in China? These are things I'm not going to know because it's just these economic lives are so far beyond me. The suffering that they deal with is, in some ways thankfully, but at the same time it's just kind of terrible that I don't, that my compassion is still not strong enough to at one point not to that way it doesn't make me a complete mess all the time worrying about everything in the world, but at the same time I don't do anything about it. But it really comes down to that. It's what I'm probably going to talk about tonight, is choices. I think it's, as we get more, so I watch this world get much more irrational. I've always believed that choices make up reality. That's the way it is. It's because our reality is our perception of the space around us. We can't remove ourselves really from that. We can take a hell of a lot of really great drugs and believe that we know what we're doing, but I really don't think that's possible. Maybe the Buddhists, the Easterns, maybe some of the Gnostics, some of the real harsh, Christians and the Sufis and whatever. Maybe they really do know. I mean, but at this point, I don't think that's the way it works for most people. And we live basically by those choices because we're not really the sum of what's happened to us. We're the sum of what we chose about. We have chose about those things that have happened in the past, which no longer exist because the past no longer exists. It's just memory, and its effect upon the present, which is how we interpret how we see the future. Okay, following me? I don't know. I'm not even following me most of the time. That's the fun part about this. Is I wish I understood what I understood better enough to express it to people, because most of the time I don't really understand what I understand. Yeah, they made a lot more sense. But anyway, the point here is that choice, it's what we do. That's really what it is. I would love to say that I can prove this by quantum physics and by the new states of understandings about Eastern mysticism or Oriental understanding. No, that's not my job. Honestly, it's not been. If it was, I would have stayed in college. I would be on my 3rd degree, and I would be writing books, having a little beard, probably be a neck beard, and going from place to place with patches on my shoulder arms, discussing things that probably the 50 people who show up to my readings are probably the only people who actually know they actually exist. That's not going to that's kind of seclusion. It's just another form of anchorite seclusion. Academic seclusion is just the same thing. It's being monkish, turning into your own community and ignoring the community outside of yourself. But, so slow down here again. I'm trying to slow down. This is under much nicer, high quality graphics. I'm sitting up straighter and hopefully I have more light. I was hoping to have something to put up behind me, you know, an upside down anarchist sign superimposed on the flag of Luxembourg area. You know, one of those countries. God only knows what I have a connection to it. That would be the kind of thing that would make sense to me. But right now we get the lovely pink of my hotel walls. But I'm getting off track again. Here we go. Think about it. You got to think about that even the things that don't seem like choices, because you don't seem to believe that there is any other choice to be had for it. You know, where sometimes it may just be economic survival. Sometimes it may be family issues. Sometimes it may be personal safety issues, where you believe this decision that there is no decision to do but the thing that you're doing, and therefore you're not making a choice. You're doing exactly what you have to do. No, it is still a choice. Everything we do is still a choice. As long as there's a choice to live and a choice to die, there is a choice. That does not mean that means that if I don't want to do something I don't want to do, I should go out and slit my throat and throw myself out on the street, because I always have the option to take my own life and die. That's not really what I mean. Death is still, as long as it's metaphorical in a sense. It's the choice not to move forward, the choice to stagnate, the choice to slowly fade away in comfort over the choices to take risk, to be a better person, to lead a better life, to give back for what you have. A lot of people do manage to make the choices to be generous in their communities and that kind of thing, and they do it. But they still don't really see the choice. They see this, oh, it's my family, this is what my family, the way my family, this is the way of my culture, this is the way of my tribal setup, this is the way everything has been run, this is the way of the religion, this is what God tells me to do. Those, you still have the choice, because the choice is made upon our perceptual understanding, not just of what we see, but what we don't see. And that means that there's always, you bounce from possibility to what happens is, quantum physics teaches us, this is probably all thing I understand, is that we there exists at any given moment, every given second, unquantifiable to maybe infinite sense of probabilities of what could happen. Things that can be set up, causal effects, unusual occurrences. Anything's possible in possibility. That's what it really is, about possibility. It doesn't matter if it's completely ludicrous or it may be nonsensical, it may go against the laws. Anything can be possible. Excuse me. And it bothers me that a lot of people seem to live like they don't have any choice, that they don't make these choices, that it's better if they don't make these choices, because then it's just like they're following what has been told for them to do, and by doing it they're going to get the same thing that everyone before them got, and that's all they really want, because it's all everyone around them knows. No, it's first, I don't know. I don't want to be judgmental. I don't want to say there is an important place for people to follow, kind of much more conservative, much more fundamentalist, you know, to actually follow new paths into stricter interpretations of our own understandings. That's still there. I generally be purely libertarian about it. I don't really care what you want, what you basically want to do with yourself, as long as it isn't going to affect me. You know, that you don't, you know, decide that you're so fundamentalist, militant, that you're going to raise an army and come out and kill people you don't like, which happens to be often me, as a Jew, as gay, as a humanist, as an intellectual, as a weakling in some ways, as a coward because I'm a pacifist. I am what people don't believe is what's. I'm not all there. I'm not manly enough. I'm not righteous enough. I'm not culturally acceptable enough. These things. It doesn't matter that I don't do anything. I'm a great hermit. That it's a blind thing that happens, and that's choice too. It's the same thing. We don't understand how much we control the world around us, even though it seems like for the vast majority of us that we have no real effect upon that world. It's not true. Because it is not by ourselves alone that by the choices that we make in our own lives, but by the choices everyone else around us makes mass. That's what kind of makes reality. It's kind of summation of all the choices that people have made in the past on how they've decided to interpret world, how they've chosen to explore new ways of doing science. They're all the same things. I just wish for people each day that they would understand how much they really do control their own reality. It's not that they control their own destiny, they control their own lives, but they control their own reality. Not that they become like a new agey kind of thing where if I just understand how to manipulate reality and how to work my will upon things, I can get what I want and I become greater and bigger. No, that's just another kind of false choice. That somehow, if I have more power than the choices that the choices that I have to make, I can make in freedom, and nobody can tell me what not to do. You know what? Everybody is affected by everybody else around them. Sooner or later, everybody's choices affect everyone else's, for good or for bad. That's really how it works. Don't even get me started on trinary thought, but I just wanted to talk about that tonight. I don't know if I made a lot of sense tonight. I don't always believe I always make a lot of sense, because most of my stuff doesn't come out this straight. It's all about a lot of it's humor, a lot of it's just comparative, a lot of it's just how we understand, pointing out how things work in a way that it looks funny. You don't really realize I'm breaking down, cracking the walls of reality around you, but technically I could be saying as I am. It may not be a very light, very big crack, but it's a crack. You can't keep tapping. If 1,000 people tap at a stone wall with 1,000 hammers, sooner or later the wall is probably going to fall down, because that's just the way if you work hard enough at it. So I guess I've spoken enough on this tonight. I'm going to go ahead and upload this. It's probably going to take a while longer. Probably be able to for a couple of days, because I put it in high definition here, or high quality at least. I give the same advice I'm probably going to be at the end of all of these I always seem to give, which is just take a time every day to think and look differently around you. Look at the most mundane thing, and remember, it's not that mundane. I think it was gerrymander. My old friend Jim the Elder, he was a very old hippie remnant, very counterculture. Used to remind me of gerrymander, which is this. But where mankind has messed up, and I'm not quoting this directly, of course, is by making the mundane remarkable, the remarkable mundane. Just want people to think about things. So, thank you.